So I came up in there, and it was a lot of love. Everything was good. Then he, introduced me to the fellas in there. It was Tila, the 8 Ball, MJG, and Psycho. He was the producer, so he played me a couple of beats, and then I chopped it up with Reg, and then he was like, "Let that man, drop a couple of beats," and I dropped a couple of beats for him, and then one day I heard who was on the beats, and it was 8 Ball and MJG, and I was like, "Wow." So it was like the song that we did was called "Kick That Shit." And I was like, yo, what I'm saying? I seen him perform it at the club, and it just, it messed me up. And I was like, yo, these dudes here, the next big thing. And, I really like, the vibe that they had down at OTS. And, a couple of partners that I wind up working with out of Memphis, like DJ Paul, them, all of them, was down at OTS at one point messing with Reg during the time, because I originally came from Rochester, New York, West Palm Beach, Florida, Gary, Indiana, coming to Memphis to work, and that was the only record label that was in Memphis, Tennessee at that time. It was another label, Mega Jam, but OTS was the first rap record label. And I was like, yo, they got a nice team over there. And, from then I knew that OTS was gonna be successful, and being a part of the history of Memphis, taking a stand and taking Memphis forward into the music game. And so, I like to give a shout out to Reg, Hollywood, OTS Records. I go by the name SMK, super producer, legendary artist / DJ out of Memphis, Tennessee.
First of all, you need a beat that you can gangsta walk to. Dropping the bass and then I'ma get into screams and claps from the crowd that I be pleasing. I made this song for only one reason, making the crowd get bucked for the meantime. Moving along with the beat breaks and rhymes.
I remember when I came to Memphis in 1990, I was working with Jazzy Faye, and I went out to the club and I heard some artists performing, and they were saying OTS Records, dude, Memphis, Tennessee. I was like, I wonder what OTS Records at. And so I found out that it was on Parkway, so I pulled up over there, boom, knocked on the door, and then they hollered out, yo, Red, this dude SMK. He said, let him in.
Yeah, you already know what it is. Frazier Boy, straight up out of Memphis, Tennessee, Bay Area. Mr. Hard Out Here for a Pimp, Mr. Goldman. I wrote the lyrics to his Hard Out Here for a Pimp. I won an Academy Award in 2005 for the best original song, Hustle and Flow. Connecting on OTS Records, man. Reginald Borland. First of all, we family, real blood cousins, so that's already fam. Just what that meant to Memphis, OTS is just, they discovered some of the most artists that shaped the Memphis sound of Memphis music and Memphis music culture. By like 8 Ball and JG, Gangsta Patch, just like Memphis royalty.
OTS was, you could not notice it. It's a red ass building, and everybody that was somebody in the city, if you went at that red building, you weren't pop. When you was in that circle of people, you know that, okay, I am, I'm the factor. I am, on this vibe and in this world that we in, I got a placement. And if you want at that building, shit, you just want it. You already know it. And that ain't no, I'm not trying to make nobody feel, less than. But to get up in that building, you had to have, some heat, which you had to have the sauce. You had to have the lingo. You had to be a part of the hip hop scene and the rap scene. So OTS,
was what it was.
Legendary studio. It's called OTS Studios. It was in Orange Mound. A-Ball MJG was in there. I started DJing at first, so I was a backup DJ for them. I used to rap, but man, you know, my main thing was I wanted to be like behind the scenes. I wanted to be like the producer, DJ. I didn't really want to be the front guy. This dude I knew that worked at that studio, he introduced me to Paul. And then after that, we just linked up and that was it.
Yeah! For the first time, it's going down history, baby. New 360, I gotta stay.
It was on cassette tape back then.
Cruising Beale Street one summer night. Gunshots rang out. And when the smoke cleared, I suffered a critical head wound while Tony suffered a fatal one. Decided we was gonna hang out that night, man, and we ended up going downtown because the fair was in town. We were just riding around on Beale Street. We stopped right there at Bill and Danny Thomas. And next thing I know, I just heard shots ring out, you know. Just like they would never stop, just pow, 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 you know. It's like they wouldn't stop. And I just felt this glass shatter in my face, you know. Because they were shooting through my window. And I guess the bullet that hit me knocked me out, you know what I'm saying? He died inches away from me. The sound of him taking his last breath haunted me for a long time. After Tony's death, his grandmother and uncles came and confiscated all the equipment and shut down GTG Studios for good. When he died, man, his family just came and snatched all the equipment at the studio. They even took stuff that wasn't there. That's how crucial it was. One day I got a call from MC Rod telling me that we had another investor, a hustler by the name of Reginald Boylan. Reg came in, you know, he picked up the slack, reopened the same studio, put new equipment in it, you know, kind of created the same environment that Tony had, and we went back to work, man. We finished up my album at Cotton Row. We took it to Ardent Studios where Larry Nix mastered it. It was the first rap album they'd ever done. We released the first single independently. It was a 2-song cassette that contained the Gangsta Walk anthem, I'm the Gangster.
I got a lot to show when I flow 'cause I'm relevant.
And the Crack Dealer's anthem, Shooting on Knocks.
Open up, this is Sam Jack on. Open up, I'm coming in.
For a period. I mean, everybody that was anybody came through that little pink house because there was nowhere else to go. We were struggling too, like family. It wasn't like we was at Atlantic or Sony or CBS or some of the big. I mean, it was a truly independent situation. Reg was trying to power it out of his pocket. I know a bunch of nights we would stay for just like day and night and day and night and day and night. He would buy chicken and pizza and, you know, I mean, yeah. I mean, we slept on the floor next to each other, you know, in between verses or in between songs or in between sessions. We didn't leave. We were there all the time. Well, of course, A-Ball and MJG, you know. Pat's record was already out. I was slated for Up Next. Ball and G, I don't know, that was just some brand new, I think Reggie would call this Space Age, and that stuff. That was one of their records or one of their big singles, Space Age Pimpin'.
Working with producers and artists. Only thing they wasn't doing, you know, all of us, this is a gift I think that we all had. Most of those guys that rap in Memphis wrote our own stuff, so we didn't have no problem with it. I think I wasn't even what you want to call gangster. I was more hip hop. But we had a little bit of everything. Actually had our own NWA, we had everything. You know, we had A-Ball them with the pimpin' and the gangster. We had Gangster Pat with the gunshots and the ghetto boy sound, the NWA sound, maybe DJ Quick sound. We had Al Capone, he was doing, all of us had different styles of, you know, of what we did.